Hello everyone, welcome back. And as we have already discussed what we are going to do in this video, this is going to be about writing a simple program using do while loop as well as while loop, right? So let's get started with the programming part. Here the first thing which I'm going to do is to include the header file, which is going to be stdio.h, okay? And then we'll have our main function. Main function is going to be there in our C program. I define a variable and initialize its value to 1, int I is equal to 1, okay? Now I put a condition while I is greater than 1. Then within this while loop I write printf and I write value of I is greater than 1. This is what I write over here, okay? So while I is greater than 1, in that case this condition will be evaluated to be true, then this message will be printed on the console, okay? So this is a simple program where initially what I'm doing is I'm using a variable I of type integer and I'm initializing its value to 1, and I'm putting a condition that if or while I is greater than 1, then execute this. But in this case, what is going to happen? Since I value is equal to 1, this condition will be false and you will not get this printf executed, which means this message which we are writing over here in the printf will not be printed on the console. This is what is going to happen, right? So let's quickly save this program, and for doing that I'll just go to file and I will click save as, and this one, let us say, is test11, and I am going to save it as a C file with .c as the extension, and I'm saving it on my desktop, okay? So now this is done. I will just quickly compile the code and we'll wait to check whether there are errors or warning. There is no error and there is no warning, right? So now we'll go and run this code. Now you see this has not printed any message over here, right? So what does it mean? It means that this condition is not true and it just gets out of this while loop and there's nothing to be printed, okay? So you don't see anything on the console, right? So now what we'll do is we'll just quickly copy this code and we'll paste it in a new file, and I'm going to save this with the name test22, and this is again going to be a C file with .c as the extension, okay? Now instead of writing a while loop, what I will do is I'll just copy this condition and I'm going to put it over here, and instead of writing this while I greater than 1, I will be writing do, right? So this is the do while loop. That means do this, which means print this message while I is greater than 1, provided this condition is true, okay? But now since I've told you that do is going to execute at least once, even if the condition is false. Now we all know that I is 1 and I greater than 1 is false, so this should not run. But since it's a do while loop, what is going to happen, that do will be executed first and we'll see the message getting printed, which is value of I is greater than 1, but actually the value of I is 1 and it is not greater than 1. But this message is going to be printed on the console because do while loop has this property that do section will be executed at least once and then the condition is going to be evaluated. So now in our case this condition is false, so it is going to print this message what we are writing in printf at least once, right? Even if the condition is false, okay? So now we have saved the code. Let us compile this just to see whether there is any error or not. There is no error and there is no warning. Let's go and run this code. So when you run this code, you see what is happening over here, that you get a message value of I is greater than 1, but actually the value of I is 1 and it is not greater than 1. But this message which you have written over here is getting printed, right? So what does it mean? That do while loop is going to run at least once even if the condition is false. So that is the major difference between the two loops that I want to bring out in front of all of you, that while loop is going to evaluate the condition first, and then on the basis of that it's going to decide whether the statements which you are writing within this while loop, they are going to be executed or not. On the other hand, do while loop has a different property. Here the do section is going to be executed at least one time, and then the while condition is going to be evaluated. If the while is false, in that case it gets out of the loop, but in this process this do section is going to print the message at least once on the console. So this is a major difference between the two, and in the upcoming section we'll see how do while loop can be used in a very complicated program that we are going to write in C programming. So I can't wait to see you all in the next video. See you there.